Privacy, in the modern context, is a recent-ish invention. While Aristotle theorised about two spheres of life, political and domestic, and humans do have an instinctual want for privacy, it's only relatively recently that it's become feasible, as convenience and need almost always outweighed privacy in the past. This has been compounded by technology. In many cases, our mobile phones store more information about us than our brains. Think about it, do you remember your exact bank balance at any given time? So we have to ask ourselves whether or not it's reasonable to expect privacy in the modern age. To find the answer, we first need to look at some context. Technology can and has been used to organise heinous crimes all over the world. The most notable case in recent times being, of course, the Apple FBI case, where the FBI wanted Apple to build a backdoor into a locked iPhone 5C, belonging to one of the shooters in the San Bernardino attack. Apple refused, and this triggered an international debate, as well as a court case, over whether or not privacy was more important than protecting human lives. Remember that at the time, nobody knew how many perpetrators there were and whether or not they were planning another attack. Now, the FBI eventually dropped the case, but it has come up several times since all over the world. The perpetrators of the attack were using iMessage to communicate with each other. iMessages are end-to-end encrypted. What this means is that each person's device had a set of unique keys. These keys are used in order to encrypt and decrypt messages, and only your public key can be used to decrypt something you encrypted with your private key, and vice versa. Your public key is, obviously, visible to the world and used to encrypt messages sent to you, and only you, or in this case your device, know your private key. All this left Apple with the prospect of potentially having to build a backdoor into its consumer iPhones, eroding years of consumer trust, and potentially compromising every single iOS device out there. The main arguments made for privacy focus on the issue of control. Should the individual have more control in their lives, or should the government be able to control our lives? An argument made in favour of surveillance is the nothing to lose argument. That being, if you're a law-abiding citizen, then you have nothing to hide, and if you're doing something illegal, then you shouldn't be doing it anyway. Many privacy advocates have spoken out about this, with Edward Snowden saying that it's analogous to saying that free speech isn't important because you have nothing to say. In truth, there really is no right answer to this. Privacy matters, especially in the modern age as our lives are stored more and more on our devices and in our brains. However, balancing this with the fact that increased security ultimately means that less people die is tricky, and I imagine that it's a debate that will continue for a long time.